This lecture is about female reproductive system, which is more complex than male reproductive system. So we study the parts of the female reproductive system in a sequence, which includes a pair of ovaries, a pair of oviducts, which are called fallopian tubes, uterus, cervix, vagina, and female external genitalia. Also, there are glands, accessory glands in the female reproductive system, just like male reproductive system. So let's start with first primary sex organs in female. The primary sex organs of female are called ovaries. Ovaries are one pair. Each ovary is 2 to 4 centimeter in length. Ovaries are present in the abdominal region. Ovaries are connected to the pelvic wall as well as to the uterus by ligaments. Oviducts. Oviducts are one pair. Oviducts can also be known as fallopian tubes. So each fallopian tube is 10 to 20 centimeter in length. So fallopian tubes extends from the peripheral region of the ovary to the uterus. Now each fallopian tube is in turn has different parts. The anterior most part of the fallopian tube, which is lateral part of it, is funnel shaped. This funnel shaped part is known as infundibulum. This infundibulum is fimbriated and also which has an aperture known as ostium. Next, medial to the infundibulum is ampulla. Ampulla is the site for fertilization. Next, ampulla, medial to the ampulla is the isthmus. So fallopian tubes are internally lined by columnar ciliated epithelium. Next, the part is uterus. The anterior most part of the uterus, which is dome shaped, is known as uterine fundus or called body of the uterus. Next, the posterior part, which is the lower part of the uterus, which is tube like, is called as the cervix, and the canal of the cervix is known as cervical canal. Now this cervical canal joins with a vagina, which is fibromuscular non-glandular structure and forms birth canal. Next, coming to the histology of uterus, if you study uterus, the wall is lined by 3 different layers. The outermost layer is known as perimetrium, which is made with visceral peritoneum. Middle is the myometrium with unstriated or smooth muscles. This is subjected to severe contractions during parturition or birth. Innermost layer is known as endometrium. Endometrium has some important layers like stratum basalis and stratum functionalis. The stratum functionalis is the innermost layer, which is towards the cavity, towards the lumen, and stratum functionalis sheds during menstruation, which is involved because it contains spirally coiled blood vessels that results in menstrual blood flow due to shedding of these layers. Next, coming to the female external genitalia. The female external genitalia includes mons pubis, labia majora, labia minora, hymen, and clitoris. So let us find out these structures. So a female external genitalia includes first a fatty cushion with pubic hairs, and this fatty cushion with pubic hairs is known as mons pubis. So from mons pubis extends the one more layer with fatty tissue, which is known as labia majora. Labia majora, to the outside, it has sebaceous glands, sweat glands, as well as the hair follicles. Now inside these are present a fold of fleshy lobe, a pair of folds inside, and this inside pair of folds, inside this labia majora, this part is known as labia minora. Now, labia majora is comparable to scrotum of male. Now, labia minora, the two folds where anteriorly they join, here it forms clitoris. Clitoris is with an erectile tissue called corpora cavernosa, which can be seen in the penis of male. So it is homologous to penis of male. Now, these labia minora enclose a space, an aperture or a cavity which is known as vestibule. Now, this vestibule encloses two apertures. The anterior-most aperture is known as urethral orifice. This is urethral opening. Below this is the vaginal orifice. This is called as vagina, which receives the penis of male during coitus, right? So this space, this inside the space is called vestibule inside the labia minora, which enclose urethral opening as well as vagina. Next, just below this is anus. Below this is the anus, and between the folds of the labia minora and anus, this space is known as perineum. In the female reproductive system, we have glands which include vestibular glands. This is vestibular gland. So vestibular glands are present on the sides of the vagina. Vestibular glands are present, and these vestibular gland secretions are alkaline. Next, the vestibular glands which are located on either side of the vagina or surrounding the vagina, right? And these vestibular glands secretions are alkaline in nature and which are comparable to the bulbourethral or Cowper's glands of male. In the female, a pair of mammary glands are present which are structurally and functionally associated with female reproductive system, which support the process of fertilization and ovulation process and pregnancy, childbirth and care. So let us study the structure of the mammary gland. Mammary glands are one pair. So each mammary gland has two types of tissues. One is a glandular tissue and second is variable amounts of fat. Next, coming to the glandular tissue of each breast consisting of mammary lobes, which are the lobules are nearly 15 to 20. Each mammary lobule contains several secretory cells. We call them as mammary alveolus, and each alveoli contains a cavity. The secretory cells inside the alveoli secrete milk, and the milk that is stored inside the cavities of the alveoli are carried by mammary tubules. All these tubules will fuse and form mammary duct. Several mammary ducts will fuse and form wider mammary ampulla. So ampulla opens with the lactiferous duct. So this is each mammary gland is with mammary lobes which contains internal lobules. They have got secretory cells which are called alveolus, that is alveolus plural, and from all these several mammary tubules arises. All these mammary tubules will fuse and form mammary ducts, and these mammary ducts opens into a wider part which is called mammary ampulla, and all this opens with the lactiferous duct. Contents of the milk. Human milk is mostly contains water. There is only 1% of proteins in the milk, and 4% of fats are present, 7% of carbohydrates and minerals are also present in the milk, which includes like calcium, magnesium, phosphorus. Minerals are present in the milk. And also milk contains immunoglobulin called IgA, and also some vitamins are also present, and there is an enzyme called lysozyme, which is a bactericidal enzyme, is also present in the milk. Next, the most abundant proteins in the milk includes casein and also alpha lactalbumin. These are present in the milk, right? So milk is the nourishing fluid for the developing young one. Guys, I hope everybody understood this lecture.